This is instruction in completing the PE1 document. This is basically the second step of creating a persuasive essay. As of now, you should have in an article's Google Doc 4 articles that you have copied and pasted off of the web. You also should have the URL for those documents as well. In addition, on a Google Doc entitled Notes, you should have 8 pieces of information that you have copied and pasted out of those articles, 2 from each article. Today we're going to work on turning those into quotations and then paraphrasing them as well. We're going to work on writing some topic sentences that will show where we want to go with that data, and we're going to write some commentary that ties the data to the topic sentences. First thing I'm going to do is to go through all the steps we're going to follow, and then I'm going to go back and go through each of the steps one at a time. So here are the steps. The first thing you're going to do is to create a new Google Doc. You're going to title it your block number, in this case I have a 2, followed by the title of the document, which is PE1, a space, and then your last name. Remember, YLN means your last name, but it is not your last name. Then what we're going to do is we're going to copy the notes document and paste everything from the notes document into the new PE1 document. After that, we're going to add quotation marks to the notes that you pasted from your sources. Then we're going to paraphrase the notes in red, and will not put quotation marks around them. These two items, one of these two items will become your concrete detail or your fact for a paragraph. Then what we're going to do is we're going to add a topic sentence that basically is going to tell us where we are going to go with that fact. And then we are going to, in 2 sentences, we are going to connect the fact, the concrete detail, to the topic sentence to show where we're going. So let me go back to Google Docs for just a moment here and show you what we have. Right now you're looking at a notes document. Now I only have 2 here. Again, you should have 8. This is just an example. Notice that both of these have the number 1 over them, which means they are coming from my first source. So make sure that these are numbered according to the source from which you found them. So what I'm going to, and then I'm going to go and create a blank document called PE1, and then I will go back to this document. I will copy the 2 notes, or we'll copy everything there. And remember, when we copy, we hold down Control and tap C, and then we will go to the new document and Control V, and there they are. And from there we will work around these. Now I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint now, and then we'll come back to this and look at what the final Google Doc should look like. So we've gone through these steps, and this is what our new Google Doc PE1 looks like. It has 2 quotations in it. But notice there are no quotation marks. These things were actually copied and pasted from directly from articles, and so not only are these ideas in here not yours, neither are the words. So we have to put these in quotation marks. So quite simply, you will go in and you'll add a quotation mark at the beginning and at the end for each of these 2 items. So now we have turned them into quotations. So if we are going to use them in our paper, we must have those quotation marks around them. Now the next thing is, it's not a good idea to, as far as data goes, to simply use quotations. Sometimes it's useful to paraphrase. So what you need to do is to read each of your quotations and and then paraphrase those quotations below them. So the first one here says it's no surprise that schools in wealthy communities are better than those in poor communities, or that they better prepare their students for desirable jobs. Another way to say that, in my own words, would be obviously students from schools in well-to-do communities are better prepared for good jobs. It says exactly the same thing, so it's this guy's idea, but it is my words. Now we're going to go on to the next one, and somehow we don't have quotation marks there, so I'll have to put those in. And so there they are, and this one needs to be read as well. So, this quotation says that among middle schools, the anticipated revenue at Beaumont Middle School, $353,805, is about 5 times that of Crawford Middle School, which anticipates revenues of $68,425. Beaumont has 33.1% of students receiving free and reduced price lunches compared to 82.1% at Crawford. So now another way to say that is that statistics show that middle schools with higher percentage of their students receiving free and reduced price lunches receive significantly less money than schools with better off families. And so that again is paraphrasing this. So ultimately, when we end up finalizing our paper, we're going to decide which quotations we want to use and which paraphrases we want to use. So we're never going to use both, but we will choose maybe a quotation here, paraphrase here, whatever, by the time we get to actually finalizing the paper. So moving on, after we do that, we need to figure out where each of these facts is going to take us. So fact number 1 has to do with wealthy communities having better schools. And so if I were writing this paper and I'm trying to make a point about inequality, a good topic sentence would be there's inequality in educational preparation based on wealth. And this fact tends to support that. On the second one, I'm going to talk about inequality in funding. So we say inequality in funding activities discriminates against poorer communities. And so that becomes a topic sentence for this fact here. And notice we could use either the quotation or the paraphrase to support the topic sentence. So when you are looking at your facts, you need to decide what you are going to say, or what that fact is going to help you say. So for example, if you have George has 2 noses, that is a fact. Your topic sentence might be that George is an unattractive guy, and then follow up with that fact. And so each one of these facts should help you make a point. So now the next step is, we're kind of leaving our readers hanging here because they understand where we want to go, they understand what the fact is, but they don't understand the relationship of the fact to where we want to go. And that's what your commentary is about, and that's the next step. So what we'll take the first one here. There's inequality in educational preparation based on wealth. That was the topic sentence. Here are the facts. A guy named Franklin wrote this thing, so here is the commentary that ties the fact to the topic sentence. Since Mr. Franklin, the author, is not surprised by this inequity, one could assume that it exists. If the wealthy are better prepared for desirable jobs, they are more likely to stay wealthy. Going on to the next one. Inequality in funding activities discriminates against poorer communities. And here, and again, here are the facts, and we can tie them together by saying that if poor schools receive inadequate funding, then those programs are not available to their students. Poorer students will receive fewer educational benefits based on wealth. So, and you'll be doing that for each of your 8 facts. So you'll have, after you finish this, and assuming you have only 2 facts for each source, you will have 8 topic sentences, 8 quotations, 8 paraphrases, and 8 bits of commentary, and each commentary must have at least 2 sentences. So in the end, this is what your document should look like for each of your sources. You should have, again, in each note, 1 topic sentence, a quotation, a paraphrase, a quotation, a paraphrase, and then you should have your sentences of analysis, or what we call commentary, in green. And so if you have done 2 for each source, you will have 8 of these, and here are 2. So